Seahawks fans of all ages, welcome back to the 12 Talk podcast. It is so nice to be doing a 12 Talk podcast when we've just had a win. Isn't it, Mitch?
Yeah, just a normal everyday win, right? Nothing special. Nothing special about this win, no?
Standard, if it's not exactly a big team or anything, just a bunch of people that play in a town where they're not actually supposed to be. Let's put it out there. It's a winning Monday is always the best Monday in my opinion. I can't get over how nice it feels. But anyway, anyone who's joining us, thank you very much. My name's Josh, and this
is
pointing
Mitch.
the right way as well is Mitch.
Yeah,
yes,
it's me,
my
Mitch.
podcasting partner in crime. How are you feeling then after yesterday, mate?
Mate, very, very good. I have to say, very, very good. The monkey is off our back. Mike Mack has got himself a cheeky win over the Niners in Santa Clara in his first year as a head coach in the NFL. That is not bad. To do it like we did in the last quarter with Gino leading with a game-winning drive like he does. Everything about that feels great. And I'd say we're very used to Gino scoring on a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. And we are, but not against the Niners. It's Gino's first ever win over the Niners. And that feels great.
So good. And then we've got a very special guest to help us break this down as well.
Do we?
We do. Very special.
I
guest.
I know. I was just.
So, those of you who don't know, we have got Matt Jones, who is the host of the Racecourse Ramble podcast. Now, whilst not a Seahawks-centric podcast, any of our viewers and listeners who have followed a previously inconsequential Welsh football team, now very much in the limelight, thank you to some major Hollywood investment. So we're going to bring Matt on very soon. Before we do that, as always, we just want to say a massive thank you to the UK Seahawkers who have asked us to be their official podcast. Always honoured. It's a massive privilege. If you'd like to become a UK Seahawker, it is £12 for individual membership, £20 for a family membership. I actually think that the annual memberships are coming up very, very soon. With that, you'll get some fantastic goodies, which I'll show you very shortly. You get some access to social events, 10% discount at the Pro Shop when you are in Seattle, and a chance to win things like game day field passes. Fantastic group of people. Get involved. Check out the Facebook page as well. Both Mitch and I are card-carrying members. And these are the goodies that you can get as well. You get your wristband, your patch. You'll get your membership card, and every year is something new, special, and exciting as well, like this RFD card. And just a quick shout out to all of the people that myself and my little brother Harry met whilst we were at Wembley for the NFL games. Great people supporting the pod, and we really look forward to hearing from more and more of you either in the Discord or in our comments. And before we actually get into the Seahawks 20-17 win against our arch rivals, shall we hit that music and bring in our special guest, mate? Let's do it. There we have it. Matt, welcome to the 12 Talk podcast. How are you doing, dude?
I'm all right, but I'm looking around for this special guest that I'm not sure who you're expecting, really. Are you expecting Ryan and Rob to be here or what? I don't know.
Give yourself some credit, mate. Give yourself some credit. We have. Thank you very much. I mean, for anyone who's tuning in who doesn't know about your podcast, please tell us a little bit about them, and then you can shout all your socials and everything as well at the end.
Oh, that's perfect. So obviously, it's like you said, it's kind of not relevant to the Seahawks directly, but if you are a football. I'm going to call it football. It's controversial, I know. If you're a football fan in the EFL, then yeah, I do a podcast called Racecourse Ramble, which is all about Wrexham FC and the amazing journey that we've been on really in the last 3 years, with some going from nearly obscurity and out of business to having Hollywood owners and recently a billionaire investor. So yeah, and the crazy times and the ups and downs as we know through sport, isn't it? So yeah, at Racecourse Ramble on all the socials. If you have any interest in EFL or perhaps just in a Hollywood story.
I didn't even know you're a billionaire investor. Where did that come in?
Listen, there's a really interesting. Well, I don't want to take up too much time. So I got a WhatsApp message of somebody saying, "You're not going to believe this. The Seahawks might be invested in Wrexham," right? So I started getting all excited, thinking, "This is my utopia, isn't it? This is going to be amazing." I'm going to have Jeffrey Dean Morgan on my podcast, who's he's obviously a massive Seahawks fan, and he's a big Wrexham fan now from the documentary. I thought this is going to be brilliant. And it turns out that the investor was actually another guy called Eric Allen, and the people who Google searched the Allen surname had ended up on the sort of Seahawks website or something, and not on this wealthy investors website. So my dreams were shattered one day. But yeah, this he's a very, very nice family guy, sort of sells medical equipment and has made billions for his family from selling that business, and now invests in community-based activities. And Rob and Ryan are quite good at community-based stuff. Just believe it or not, you don't hear a lot of it, but they're really good in the Wrexham area and stuff. And their first investment together was in our local brewery, which it's called Wrexham Lager, which makes a really nice lager. So yeah. Anyway, that's the boring bit out of the way.
Oh, I don't know. It's quite nice to hear a bit more about things like that than just the Seahawks. I didn't realise all of that. I've watched a little bit of Welcome to Wrexham. And I'm just a huge Deadpool fan, so and Ryan Reynolds as well. Yeah. I just think perfect. But yeah, well, there you go. Everyone, check out Racecourse Ramble. I have subscribed as well, and I'll be looking forward to hearing about that because I'm a Blackburn Rovers fan when it comes to EFL. So I don't actually watch or like a lot of soccer.
Well, you beat us quite convincingly last year, I think it was, in the cup. So yeah, we won't talk about that.
Let's not. Let's get on to the Seahawks. Let's get on to the reason we've actually all come onto a podcast smiling today.
Yeah,
we beat the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara. I'm going to keep hammering that point home because if you're in San Francisco, you should be based there. 20 points to 17 with a last gasp Geno rush. And you know what? We'll go through the box score. Let's see how it all transpired. And I just want to say a massive thank you and hi to everyone that's in the chat. Levi, hail to the chat. Yes, thank you very much. We really appreciate you all chipping in. We've got members of our Discord in there as well. I know Mitch will be dropping that link in very soon. But let's have a quick look through how the game went. First quarter, we had the field goal, and then Brock Purdy was allowed to run away for that touchdown in the corner. Second quarter, another field goal, Money Myers. And then halftime came about, and I was skeptical. I wasn't sure how we were going to get into this. And then we had the field goal from Moody, followed by that Ken Walker rushing touchdown from the goal line. And then Q4, our nemesis of this game, Juwan Jennings, in more space than I would care for any wide receiver to be in when receiving a ball, scores that TD, and then Geno with that absolute touch of magic to get that rushing TD. Before we get into our 12 talking points, gentlemen, how do we, as a Seahawks fan, UK, Europe, US, we all have various flux states of feelings during this game. Can you tell me after the first half, how are you feeling, and then give me how you felt at full time? Let's start, Matt, as you are the special guest. What was your emotional state like?
So at halftime, I was similar to you. At halftime, I thought the 49ers are going to come out in the second half and step it up, and I was expecting them to run down our gut with McCaffrey way more successfully than they did, and I just expected it to play out that they'd win. On my little prediction league, I think I put them to win by about 10 points, I think, trying to be realistic. So I was delighted to be sort of lay there watching Gino run in with, was it about 10 seconds to go or something?
12 seconds, I think there was left.
But then fearing I'll be honest, I was fearing some sort of Hail Mary disaster. I thought this has got this all over it. Who was it the other week that conceded it? Was it There wasn't Pittsburgh. Who had the Hail Mary?
Chicago Bears. Tyreek Stevenson in the end zone with his.
I thought.
Popar.
Yeah, I could see us conceding something like that and thinking, oh, we've thrown this away like we did the Rams game. So the glow this morning when I woke up and just realised, oh, we've won we've won that game was very Ready Breckish, if you remember the glow on the Ready Breck advert.
Well, 1 second. Jonas is in the comments. So should we just follow on from the breaking of the news during our roundtable about Connor Williams? And just
we should. Yeah, we should address it because there'll be people watching who haven't heard it. So
yeah. So Jonas Meister, a guest of this pod. I don't know why these comments got so big on here and cover all of our faces. So if you all want to just peek over there, Gino just confirmed in an interview with Sherm that Connor Williams seemingly had massive mental health issues. Mental health always comes first, man, always, and he was hurting. If that is the case, I wish him well. If there was personal reasons as to why he decided to retire, then focus on yourself, focus on your mental health. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I believe, as well. By all means, if anyone has any problems, reach out to someone. You can always talk to someone. And Connor Williams, we wish you the best from the 12 Talk podcast. You may never hear this, but we genuinely do. It's something that we are massive advocates for here. So we're talking about mental health. Matt, so first half, second half. Sorry, I was reading that comment and thinking, Jonas, breaking news. Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, go, bring it into the upward slope now. Why were you happy in the second half?
Well, I think the longer the game went on, you start to get convinced that the scheming was good, that the game planning was good, and that you get some belief in what we were doing, didn't you? And you're seeing repetition, and we're seeing things like we're seeing Ernest Jones play well again. I was seeing Witherspoon still being sticky and agile, and so I think the longer the game went on, we got more belief. Although I haven't got much belief when we're in the red zone at the moment, to be fair. But watching Gino run it in, as I said, with seconds to go, it was one of them where I was really excited, but then wary of what might still happen in a bizarre state. But yeah, lovely afterglow this morning. Nice seeing the meltdown on 49ers social media. And I think that might be the first of many. I think this might be the first of many because I think they're on the downturn. Oh, I know, controversial. I know, but
the
evidence is there.
Wait for our 12 talking points, my friend. Mitch, go on, give me your sort of myriad of emotions through this.
Yeah, I was just glad at the end of the second half that we hadn't done anything to sort of let the Niners in. Or get ahead of us, I should say. Because if you think back to a number of our games this year that we could have won, there was always a moment in the first half that meant we were chasing the game. And we went in 1 point behind. And I think when you look back to us getting I think it was our second 3 points, that it came after the interception for Hankins. And prior to that, they'd marched down the field, looked really clean on offense and scored 7. So to have stopped them early in a drive, intercepted it and got 3, whilst it was a shame not to have got 7, that was still a 10-point swing, right? Because they didn't get 7 and we got 3. And that ended up meaning we went in 1 point behind. Well, that's the opposite of what we've been doing in previous games. In previous games, that was us. That was us going up to score 7 because we'd looked decent on offense. Something stupid happened. We've conceded 7. The game's blown wide apart and we've got to chase it. So it felt different to me in that respect. I did, however, still have questions about how we were going to compete, how we were going to put up points on the board if it wasn't from Myers. So I was half time. I was happy we were where we were, but I still wasn't sure how we were going to push on. And obviously, the second half we saw Jackson Smith and Jigba take hold of the game and start hitting soft zones with really, really clean run routes, and also being targeted in the slot.
Most efficient slot
Who knew?
receiver in the NFL at the
He
moment.
was, yeah.
Yeah, who knew that should be his meat and drink, right? Mad. So yeah, no, I thought in the end, when Gino ran that ball in, I thought it was brilliant, because when you look at KJ Wright on the sideline, he's probably, when they're talking about what to cover, what's likely to happen with the time we had left, I think we'd used all our timeouts at that point. They probably under some of his advice suggested that the last thing we were going to do is have Gino run it into the corner and scramble out the pocket. That's one. If you're talking about the odds and the percentages and the things we do and the way we score points, that's low. That's low on the list. So we did the one thing that they probably hedged we wouldn't do. They didn't account for it, right? So ecstatic at the end, ecstatic. And I love that it was Gino, because that was the arc. That was the story arc, wasn't it? With the interception and people on his back and trying a bit too hard. There was 2 times he was under pressure. He threw a pick, or there was that one he threw to Charbonnet where we lost a lot of yards. It should have been thrown it away. And we had those moments, but in the end, who wears the crown? Who leaves Santa Clara with a match ball after a game-winning drive? It was Gino.
Yeah.
So very, very happy.
I went into the game very much like, let's see how badly we're going to lose this one. Zero expectations. I got to halftime. I thought it's just one of those games where our offense just can't get clicking. People are just going to keep scoring on us. And even though we held them to where they were, I thought, well, if we can only score points from Myers' boot, where do the rest come from? Halftime came. I cracked open a beer and I thought, oh, why not? I'll sit back and watch this and see what happens. And I was pleasantly surprised. Everything, like you both said, started clicking. Our defense looked good. Then, the offense started putting some drives together. JSN just is exploding into the NFL sphere right now. Mitch, don't think I've not noticed the fact you're wearing a JSN jersey.
There's a reason.
That's why I'm observant. And then obviously we had our Seahawks sleeper agent in KJ Wright calling the wrong coverage for Gino to scamper it at the end. So, and it was one of the nice things for me doing our X account last night was seeing how many people throughout the whole game were calling for Gino's head. And then at the end of it, all those accounts that have been posting so frequently during the game, silent. Yeah, it was nothing. It was Tumbleweed Central. And it's one of those, and obviously there was, I can't remember what I was watching today, they were just talking about Gino's resilience, how even when things go wrong, as they did during this game, he still had the mental fortitude to go forward. And we questioned it a few weeks ago. But I think he's showed that it's actually something he does have and he can sort of command. So with that, we talked about our emotions there. It's always nice. We'll get those out in the open. We'll talk about mental health. I just want to very quickly just throw up something from our charity partner to talk about sort of testicular and ovarian health. And then we're going to get into our 12 talking points. So we've got a minute with the RCT and then we'll be right back with you.
I want to take a minute just to introduce you our charity partner for the pod, the Robbing Cancer Trust. The Robbing Cancer Trust is the UK's germ cell cancer community. For those who don't know what germ cell cancer is, that is testicular and ovarian cancer. And the RCT was set up following the family tragedy, which sadly saw them lose their son and brother to germ cell cancer. Germ cell cancer is something that can affect anyone at any time. And the RCT, Robbing Cancer Trust, do a fantastic job creating awareness through the various campaigns like Talking Bollocks and Not Overreacting. If you or a member of your family have been affected or think you may be affected by it, please visit their website, therobbingcancertrust.org, to see how you can spot the signs, how you can manage it, and become part of the community. And if you'd like to help fundraise or give anything to them, by all means, that would be absolutely fantastic.
There you go. Victim of my CAC editing again. But they're still running the big ballsy run all November. You can still sign up to do 10K, 50K, or 100K. Use that QR code. I'm pointing the right way. That way. There you go. Nearly got it wrong. On the screen there, and you can still sign up and help raise some fantastic awareness and funds for a brilliant charity. But following our public service announcement from the RCT, let's get on to our 12 talking points. Oh,
before we do, just one thing. I've got a little challenge for both of you and for the chat. So if anyone in the chat can solve the puzzle, chuck your suggestions into the comments.
Can we just caveat that? No Googling, because
no
we
Googling.
will know, all of you that are watching, that are in front of your laptop or your phone, if you come up within seconds with this list, then we'll know you've Googled it.
Yeah. So my little challenge for you is, I mean, first of all, I'll caveat this by saying that PFF grades are not everything, and I don't base all of my opinions on PFF grading. However, they threw up a little anomaly, or no, maybe not an anomaly, maybe that's not the right word, but there's a really interesting sequence regarding our defensive grades. So, who do you guys think were our top 5 graded defensive players? And your hint is, all 5 of the top 5 defensive rated players for the Seahawks from PFF were all on rookie deals
for this game.
And Leonard, for this game, Leonard Williams was 6th. So everyone above Leonard Williams is on a rookie deal. And if you can give me the position that they were ranked, bonus point. So who do you? I mean, straight off the bat, who do you think was? Who do you think?
Give us your 5.
Witherspoon's going to be there, but I don't know whether he's number 1. Knight.
Shoot your shot.
Have I got to guess the position as well? Really, that's hard.
It is tough. I mean, I'll give you another hint. The 2 that were out front by a way. So there were 2 standout defensive players, both on rookie deals. Oh, Jonas has thrown out 5 there.
Cross is still on a rookie deal, isn't he?
Yeah,
defensive
Cross is on a rookie deal, but with defensive here. So,
okay. I don't think Reek would be there. I've got those 2. Those 2 have got to be there, surely. After that, Josh, who would you say?
Do you know what? Jonas in the chat has is always in
copy and paste it.
So the good thing is some of the guys in the chat are getting it wrong, so I know they're not Googling. That's great.
Excellent. So I am going to go 5 Job.
Oh yeah.
4 Woolen. 3 Knight. 2 Spoon. 1 Marfay.
Okay, you've done really well. 4 of your 5 were in the top 5.
Just not in the right order.
So you've got one incorrect answer in there, not quite in the right order. Matt, have a go with your 5, and then I will reveal all for you and the fans.
I don't know who's not in the right order.
It's a tricky question, but I think it's fascinating.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, this is.
Thank you, Ben.
That'll be the 5th one, surely. Because I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. But the order is the trouble. I think Knight would have been higher than you thought, Josh. I think he might have been. But was he first? Oh, it's so hard.
1 and 2 were really close, but then you don't know who number 1 was or number 2 was. So
yeah. I don't know what order. It's potluck in it. I don't know what order they would have been in.
But between yourselves and the chat, we've got all the names.
We're basically just chucked out everyone who's on a rookie deal that played last night between us in the chat.
I'm going to put everyone out the misery, but it's a really, really good read considering we always look at this roster and say it's full of talent and, they're ascending talents. You can tell with this. So number 5, Boye Mafe, 70.1 overall, really solid grade. Woolen on the same or almost the same grade, 70.1. So that's number 4. Kobe Bryant's number 3 on 70.4. So those bottom 3 are really close. And then number 2, Tyrese Knight on 77, which is an outstanding grade, considering Ernest Jones was a 49 on the night when he had so many tackles. So Knight being 77 is outstanding. And then Spoon at 78, number 1 place. So Spoon, Knight, Bryant, Woolen, Maffei are top 5 standout players. And I think Byron Murphy as well in the chasing pack with Williams.
Right, I'm going to put it out there. Ben has 100% just Googled that.
He's also he's nailed it in order, so it has to be. He's found it. Yeah. So thanks to Brian Nemhauser there for that because he was the one who highlighted that stat, and I think it was a really cool thing to see on a historical night in Santa Clara. The rookie contract guys have all stood up and performed. So superb.
Yeah. Right, it's time then. 12 talking points. Thanks for that, Mitch. That actually got me thinking, which on a Monday evening is
dangerous.
Not. Yeah, I know. It's. I haven't got
the rest of the week is done.
That's it. Yeah, no more work for Josh. Right, 12 talking points. So anyone who is new here, every time we do one of these breakdowns, we tend to do 12 talking points. So we always start with our special guest today. We will have 2 points of conversation and 2 observations from each of us. By all means, anything that we mentioned, if you want to pop anything in the chat, we'll try and get to all those as well. We do have our Discord member musings as well at the end, and then we'll go back from there. So, Matt, are you ready?
All ready.
Hit us with your first one.
So, I know Gino divides opinion. Is that fair to say?
Very fair.
Obviously, that was his 10th game-winning drive since 2022. Technically, it could have been his 12th, I think it is, but we've missed field goals against, I think it was the Rams last year, and then there was the blocked field goal against the Giants. So yeah, I think what I wrote was Gino isn't the problem right now. That's ultimately.
I had to cut a bit off.
Yeah, that's fine. He's not the problem. I know there's this real hard divide with him, and I believe in the stadium in Lumen, I believe that the fans are vociferous about the disappointment with him. But I think he's not the problem right now. Very clearly, he's not the problem. Don't worry about him. I think we've got other problems that we need to prioritize, as we all now know. It's there, isn't it? And I think people need to lose less sleep worried about Gino and more about John fixing that O-line.
Yeah, agreed. I love this next point.
Well, I should have said I'm hoping in the future, because obviously Ernest Jones is. I don't know what we're going to do, whether we end up franchise tagging him or whether we are going to tie him down. Obviously, hopefully, but I think they're. I think Spoon was the one that excited me most when Mike Mack came, because I could just see him utilizing him in different positions and loving that. His physicality and his, just the way he plays. And I think last night was probably a blueprint for how we'll use him. And I think that's tremendously exciting. And then I think Ernest Jones has been I don't know what the right word is, season changer. Is that the right word? Maybe not. But he's perhaps going to guide us into a better place this season than we were perhaps 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think he's tremendously exciting. He's to be green dotted already was I think that perhaps tells us a lot about perhaps why Dodson was moved on.
Yeah, I think it's when you look at the way they both play, Dodson looked like he was the answer to start with. I was quite excited about seeing him play. But then as the season's drawn on, he has made coverage errors. He's picked the wrong gap when trying to blitz. I just don't. Mitch, I don't know what it is, but you're like frowning constantly at the moment. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm not having a stroke or something.
Remember, we did win.
I was like, this is live.
You're right. You're right. Sorry, it's almost like we lost. I should be glowing. I don't know what it is about the screen. Maybe I'm squinting at the screen. Maybe that's what it is.
Glasses, mate, is what you need. But yeah, I think having Ernest Jones was someone we wanted from the Rams, but they wouldn't trade in division. But then obviously went to the Titans, wasn't suitable for them, and then we managed to get him. So I think that speaks verses. And as soon as they saw him come in and what he could do, I think Mike Mack has then gone, that's my guy. And that's my guy who can then teach my rookie how to play. So Dodson, not needed. And I am really excited about seeing that pairing of Knight and Jones. And Spoon, I just think yesterday showed that Mike Mack's finally starting to piece together the puzzle of where he can play him and make him most effective. And I think it was evident by the plays he made yesterday, just the attitude that he brought to every single hit that he made. You know, he was around the ball there or thereabouts. That the tip drill was one of the best tip drills I have seen for a long time. The way he managed to curve his arm under to tip that ball up for big Jonathan Hankins to then come up with. And also, Hank has got hops. He must have at least got a decent 12 inches off of
He high pointed it, didn't he?
Decent. Yeah. Even I looked at that and was like, I can't even jump that high. I used to play basketball. You know, but fair play, yeah. I completely agree with those. Go on, Mitch, what do you think?
Yeah, there was a lot to like about Spoon yesterday, and I think what we saw with Spoon yesterday was what we saw all of his rookie year. The energy, and he was the barking dog on the back end there, and he was flying around. I wonder, this is, you might tell me I'm talking rubbish here, but when you bring in Rayshawn Jenkins and Dodson and Baker, who are all quite quiet leaders, they're very sort of considered in what they say, and do you know what I mean? You've brought in some players around Spoon there that are very not introverted, but they're certainly not extroverted. Ernest Jones is a barking dog, and you've stuck a guy right in the middle calling the plays with the green dot on his helmet. Well, not calling the plays, but you know, the mouthpiece on that, the main mouthpiece is a barking dog, and Spoon is he's so he seems so adaptive to the players around him. So I feel like he's needed those kind of players to sort of absorb. And you could say the same about Julian Love. Like, I think Julian Love's a brilliant leader, and I think he's a great role model for a lot of the players on the defensive side. But again, he's not your outspoken, loudmouth, trash talking, guy. So I think Ernest Jones has been a great. I think there's a really interesting two players to put in that comment, because that's two players that I think will feed off each other and bring that energy and set the tone. More importantly, the defense. Yeah. So yeah, no, I love that comment.
I've just realised as well, Matt, we've just completely flipped your observation and your discussion point. So sorry, right. But I think the chat was all saying with the Gino thing, it's not Gino. So your third one, and I love this. We've already mentioned this, man.
Yeah, and people have probably already said this before, but we're starting to see him become very dominant now, JSN, and we're starting to see him utilised in the right way, going back to what I think you were hinting at with about Mitch wearing his shirt. And obviously it's sad, but it's looking like Tyler's probably last season. He's certainly not going to come back on that deal, is he? So he's probably
with a baby due as well. I think
baby due. He's obviously done all his they call it realtor, his estate agency type work, hasn't he? So I can see JSN exploding the end of this season, whatever that is for us, and into next season. And I think it's quite exciting. And I think in my little message to you, I said I love the jet sweep that he ran. And I say I'm a big fan of that type of stuff. I sit there sometimes going, well, hang on, DK's a big guy. Can't we do something with him? Let's be creative, but wildly mad thoughts that I sometimes have. But yeah, I think his handling at key times. Lockett is sometimes the go-to man on clutch third downs when you need a 10 or 15 yard, gain, and you want a safe pair of hands. Lockett's the man, and I think we're starting to see that now with JSN, because 2 or 3 times in that last drive, he went to JSN, and I felt like you could almost see the transition, rightly or wrongly. That was
the passing of the torch. You can see it.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
It's like a succession, isn't it?
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. We've been saying this since we drafted him. We expect him to be wide receiver too, and I think pretty sure Mitch, you and I said about the midway point of the season, we would see the sort of the catches or the pass attempts to each player sort of flip.
Right.
So it'd have that sort of scale where it's completely slide. It'd go Lockett would be wide receiver 2, but then by midway part of the season, we'd hope that'd be JSN getting the majority of those throws, and I think that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because what he's had the last 3 games, he's just got 2 over 100-yard games now.
Yeah, was it 110 yesterday? Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I've got some stats for you, boys.
Of course you have. Go on.
I always got a stat off the top. 2 things really. So the Seahawks record for a 2-game span in yards is 314 yards by Steve Largent. And the second highest total over 2 games was 295, which again was Steve Largent. But the third highest total by a Seahawks receiver over 2 games is JSN with 290 yards over his last 2 games. So that is some cracking company to keep. That is a Hall of Famer and the greatest Seahawks receiver of all time, and he's up there. And if you think he was underutilized last year, he wasn't. He was just badly utilized, because last year JSN became the most targeted rookie receiver ever on the Seahawks roster. So last year we targeted him plenty. This year we're seeing the numbers. What we're just about seeing is better utilization of his talents at the right times as well in the game.
Yeah, it seems that Grubb understands him better than Shane did.
Well, it seems that anyone understands football better than Shane Waldron at the moment. So, you know.
Just a quick one. What was I've lost my memory is really bad. Was it last week or the week before? No, it wasn't last week. Game before the last game where he had about 100 yards taken off because of penalties, and he would have had a 200 odd yard plus game. I think. Was that the Rams, or have I made that up?
No, there was.
No,
was it the
Rams?
Right. I think it is right. Yeah, because
my memory is terrible.
Didn't he had near of a 60-yard reception or something that was pulled back for holding on the O-line or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had over 100 yards, I think, taken off him because of penalty. So even that stat that you've just thrown out, Mitch, could have been incredible.
Could have been the top stat rather than the third place stat. Yeah, for sure. But it's a good sign. I mean, it's trending the right way.
Yeah,
I'm loving the Jonas is in there with the stats. So here we go. JSN has 370 yards and 2 TDs over the last 3 games. That's some good stats. And, it's one of those. I don't know if anyone follows wrestling. I'm not a massive fan, but there's a guy called Joe Hendry. It's like say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Henry. Say Shane Waldron's name and his name appears in the comments. Gary, Shane Waldron showed how awful he was as an OC. Yep. And then Richard, Shane Waldron gives me nightmares. Utterly dreadful.
I've got a theory on Waldron. Before we go too far, Waldron was a genius at drawing up 2-minute drills and opening drives, right? Predetermined plans, but couldn't adjust and do anything in game, right? Do we all agree?
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest here at this point that Shane Waldron had someone doing his homework for him. Because
AI,
ChatGPT is doing his plays. Yeah.
Do you know what always got me with Waldron was the fact he was a tight ends coach, but then as soon as he became an OC, he never used tight ends. Yeah, it's like he was thrust into being a tight ends coach and he just didn't want to be there. It was like, I hate these guys. Why have they put me here? And then when he gets the chance to actually call plays for him, he goes, nah. They're not my cup of tea. Instead, I'll just ruin a rookie wide receiver who's drafted in the first rounds, his rookie season. Anyway, let's go to the next one. And then here we go, number 4.
Yeah, so I just, to be fair, it maybe elements of it have been coming slowly, but I think last night we're starting to really see. I still don't think he's unlocked the box of tricks, has he? I don't think we're seeing a lot of his magic. I think it's still there. He's probably very frustrated that he can't unlock his box of tricks properly yet, and we might not see that. Is it too crazy to say we might not see that now till next year when he gets some more of his own influence on the roster? But I think was just last night. I thought we were starting to see some of what he wants to do. He didn't. he barely, I don't want to say he didn't at all, he barely gave up any big plays, or certainly not multiples of them. You know, I hate to say it, but, you know, watching it with Pete at the end, you know, it was just busted play after 40-yard run. After it was constant, wasn't it? And I think we're starting to learn how to get players to lock this game down. And that's just what I thought when I was watching it. I was sat there, I thought, we're starting to, just early days. I know it's definitely not the finished article, but I think we're starting to see the signs. That's my uneducated opinion.
I like it. Before we go too far down that rabbit hole, because I know we're all going to say something about this. So, Matt, I thought they were all amazing. I'll rattle through mine quickly. There's a couple of discussion points I'll open up to the floor. First one, O-line. Opinions, with a little shrug emoji I should have put on there. What do we think? Just a very quick, go on. How did you think it fared last night compared to previous weeks? Go on, Matt.
It was better. It was. You wouldn't write home about it, would you? You're not going to say that the problem's fixed, but you would definitely. I was watching, thinking, I think Gino's got an extra second or two in the pocket that he's not had before. I haven't timed that. That is just an off the cuff remark, is how I would describe it. Rightly or wrongly, you might tell us the stats are different to that, but that was just my gut feeling watching it in real time. I just thought he had a fraction more, and it felt a little bit better.
You should know me by now, Matt. I'm not the stat man. He's
well, I meant Mitch, really, but.
All right. Oh, cheers, mate. It's zero face straight away. It's like you've seen this pod before. But Mitch actually gave me a really nice bit of PFF grading on one of our O-line who had his first start of the season. Mitch, do you want to?
Yeah, Oluwole Batimi was one of our highest graded offensive players. And I've said for a long time, I think one of the problems with our O-line, when you look at the depth chart, is there's a distinct lack of NFL snaps all the way through that large team. I think we take 12 O-linemen or 11 O-linemen on the roster on the 53.
We did not roster breakdown.
It's 20%. 20% of our roster is O-linemen, and we can only play 5 of them. But the madness of that was they were all so inexperienced, and Olu hasn't had a look at the field really this year, and he comes in and becomes it was the second highest graded player on the team yesterday. JSN had a whopping 88, but Olu I think was 81 on the 81. Night. And you don't get many more stern tests than the San Francisco 49ers D-line. There's plenty of talent there that's going to make you look silly. And the thing that really bumped up his grade was his run blocking grade, which was nearly 90, I think. So
was it his pass blocking? Didn't he didn't let up a single pressure in his pass blocking either.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was outside. Apart from that one
rogue snap.
Yeah, the one snap. Which
I don't even think that one was on Gino, really. I just thought it was on Gino more than.
Yeah. It's fair play. It's not straight where you want it, but you can catch a ball here. Wide receivers do it every single game and every single training session. So part of it is probably on Gino. But yeah, Mitch, what do you think it was better overall?
I mean, Gino played under center more yesterday, which I think gave I think it gave him a bit more control. Like he felt like he had more control in the pocket yesterday. I felt like routes were able to develop as well, and that probably does point to Matt's point about him seeming to have a bit more time. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a massively improved O-line overnight, because I thought Laken Tomlinson wasn't particularly good, and I think Charles Cross had a few high-profile, bloopers, which is unlike him, to be fair.
Yeah.
But with Lucas back and rotating time with Gerald, that is a brilliant situation, because you get to get back to Mike Gerald being introduced more softly to the NFL. That's a win. And limiting Lucas's snaps so that he can get back in and reestablish himself as a healthy right tackle one is also great. So that's a superb situation on the right side. It's a superb situation on the left side. If Olu can lock down the center, we're then just back to who are our starting guards, And can we get Haynes introduced and start getting him up to speed in the NFL as well? So lots of positives. Not going to go and commit to saying anything too overly positive about the O-line, but certainly I agree with the comments that it looked better and Gino had a bit more control and a bit more time.
Yeah, it looked better. I think Ben just made a really good comment here. Sorry, Mitch, I'm going to cover your face up. Bosa getting hurt definitely helped us on offense for the last few drives, 100%, because Bosa on that against Abe looked better, but then against Gerald, it was just it was so unfair. Some of the rushes that Bosa was putting against him, you could tell the difference in sort of elite and D2 college rookie. But he fared all right. But then when Bosa came out, it just gave us so much more time. So I think that just goes to show that we're not quite there yet, even though we've all said it was better. We're not where we need to be yet. But give it a season or two, and hopefully that'll come good. Hopefully John will realise that you need to pay guards as well. That can also help out.
Not going to happen.
No. My next one. Where's the run gone? Purely because I've banged on this drum a couple of times this year. So Ken Walker had 14 carries for 54 yards, average of 3.9. Granted, we didn't actually put him through the centre, trying to put him through the A and B gaps as much, which I was so glad about. But then behind him, who do you think were our second and third highest rushers?
Gino was one.
Gino at number 2.
Second, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 4 carries, 29 yards, average of 7.2.
It's going to be JSN for that one sweep, wasn't it?
It's JSN. JSN, 1 carry on a jet sweep for 8 yards.
Yeah.
And then at 4, Zach Charbonnet, 4 carries, 3 yards, an average of 0.8. And obviously he had that 4th down failure.
Yeah, 4th and inches.
Where, yeah, personally, I just think he just chose the wrong gap there. It was really good, like D-line play from the 49ers, but I just thought the run just seems to be evading us at the moment, which it's a good job. We're quite a pass-happy team at the moment. The Love and Bryant safeties, are they the sense of the future? I'm just going to address this really quickly. I have been really harsh on Kobe Bryant, but I think safety is his position. He's cerebral. He tries to bring physicality. I'm not going to mention it, Mitch. I'm not. I'm going to move on to Julian Love. I think Love has got complete command of the secondary now. He is a leader there, and he is really starting to show what he can do. And like you said, having those barking dogs of people like Ernest Jones and Spoon are really starting to help as well. But I'm going to move on before I go down the rabbit hole. And this one, still some holes in defense. I'm just going to rattle through this because it'll be Mitch next, and we've got a Discord member musings. Now, Matt, you said that the defense looked better. It really did. We've started putting Spoon into positions where he can be really effective. I thought Knight was fantastic. I thought Ernest Jones he seemed to be everywhere putting in tackles. However, the fact that you allow Brock Purdy to run in for that touchdown with only Jaron Reed as the player chasing him meant there was a breakdown somewhere. And you can't allow someone like Purdy, who is, in my opinion, vastly underrated for his skills with his feet, to have that opportunity. And also, when you have a player ripping you apart like Juwan Jennings, I understand they're probably looking at Deebo Samuel and going, we need to make sure he's out of the game. We need to look at Pearsall and make sure he's covered. But Juwan Jennings, to have as many yards as he did and score that touchdown with so much open space around him, 0 pressure, I thought was unforgivable. But they're the only real holes I could pick. I thought the rest of the defense played really well. Mitch, we're on to you, my friend. Ready? Bosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so D-line and O-line, I don't think I put it quite as looked good, but my point with the D-line and O-line here to talk about is I think it was the first game where both the D-line and O-line hadn't been bullied. It seems like every game you look at it and go, O-line got bullied today. In fact, that's been most of them. But there have been some games where the D-line looked incapable of stopping the run as well, or we hadn't got pressure. So yesterday was the first game where neither one of our lines got dominated, and as a result, the D did a passable job and the O did a passable job. In fact, at times they looked brilliant, but the level that they established throughout the game was good enough, and that was improvement for me.
Oh,
this is the one I really want to talk about.
I wonder if there's any Niners that are going to be watching this. Any Niner fans? Go on, bang bang, Niner gang.
This one pleases me, and so I've mentioned before that, you know, the cap situation, the stars that they have, the guys that need extending, they can't extend them all. You know, you need to keep drafting really well if you're going to maintain that charge for you know, any lengthy period of time with players like they've got on their roster. I now think there's another real factor creeping in, combined with the cap situation at the 49ers, that means that they have run their race, and I no longer think that they are a top 4 force in the NFL. And that is the fact that their best players that they're paying the top money to cannot stay fit for a season. Trent Williams?
Trent Williams.
Trent Williams, George
45.
Kittle, McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, often Debo. You know, you name all these players, the guys that are earning the big bucks, the guys that are their blue chippers, are half a season guy. They are half season guys, and if you're lucky and they're all available to you in the postseason, you've got a chance. If they're not, you've paid them an awful lot of money to not be available, and that seems to just be accelerating now. So the cap situation plus the injury situation means that I think they've run their race.
How prepared, Mitch, are you for me to cut that up?
Yeah, the guys are all mentioning Bosa.
Put it on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm going to get crucified.
That is going on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. I just want to see how much the Niner fans are going to hate. Yeah, and you know what, Mitch? You and I can sit here every single episode and still laugh about it because it won't really matter.
Absolutely.
But do you know, I hadn't considered it that way, but then I was reading a story earlier about the Niners possibly parting ways with Debo due to his cap hit, the fact that they signed Pearsall, drafted him in the first. They've just extended Ayuk. You know, Juwan Jennings, they've extended for another 2 years as well. Debo isn't as effective as he used to be. You know, McCaffrey, like I said, always injured. So this is, for me and for anyone, obviously you guys, fantasy football players as well, this is why I laugh at anyone who takes CMC in the first overall pick, because it's all well and good if he stays fit, but you're going to get him for 40% of the season. So enjoy that 40% win rate. But yeah, completely agree. And I think the smiles on our faces say that all of us kind of agree with that point. Sharps, he's back in the comments here. Go on.
Yeah, I just a couple of points here. Like he had one run from fullback, which I think got us a first down, I think. But there was also a high-profile sack on Geno where he looked like he was, you know, just
lost.
Away with the fairies. Lucas was losing his one-on-one with Bosa, I think, and we really needed Charbonnet to be dialed in there. I can see a role for Charbonnet as a fullback because he's got that contact balance and he can rip off 10, 15, 20 out of nowhere from that position. And I think that has high value to this team. But you have to be able to pass protect. You have to be a bit more alert than he was in some of those moments. But as much as I'd hate to have a second round pick at fullback on our roster, he could do a really good job there if he just improves and polishes up a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. That I think the block attempts were. Yeah, I'll put that up there. There you go. Jalen Sundell is the fullback. That block attempt was just him getting completely lost. So when you watch it back, it was because Bosa had taken such a wide sort of arc to get around Abe Lucas. You had Charbonnet who'd come sort of between Lucas and the guard, trying to fill that gap, whereas he should have gone round with Lucas to sort of extend Bosa round further. He just didn't, and instead he looked like a bit of a twit, just looking around.
He did. He looked a bit gormless as well, which didn't help him. But one thing that I'd love to see him do in that situation, if he's looking for someone to block and he can't see that person, make a run, be a check down, get beyond the line, be an option. Because if Gino had looked up and seen the pressure coming from his right, but Sharps had shot a gap and was open, that could have been 10, 15, 20 yards plus instead of minus 10 yards for the sack.
Yeah, but can we also just address the fact that he did do that once and Gino threw the ball? Didn't go
in the same
well.
game.
So
it didn't go well. No, I agree. But the point being, if you can't find someone to block, be an option for a check down, or go and find someone to double team. Do something. If 4 or 5 seconds have gone by and you still haven't found something to assign yourself to, get creative. It didn't look good for me, that, but room for improvement, and he could be a very good fullback.
Yeah.
And then Draymond Jones, boom or bust on a play-by-play basis. The first time that Purdy scrambled out the pocket, Draymond Jones was off so wide. I don't know if you saw how wide he took that tackle. You could have driven a bus through that gap where he was supposed to be setting that edge. And it's just the most Draymond Jones thing in the world to work himself out of position, trying to beat his man and losing contain. We saw that with Darryl Taylor for years. I would like to think that there's a role for Draymond Jones on that D-line, just being a big end and being hard to beat on that edge. We don't need him to win against his tackle every time. We do need to make sure we hold up that end.
For the money we're paying him, we want him to win every single time.
Well, a lot.
Whether it's a rush, whether it's setting the edge. I'm still not convinced. He's still more bust than boom for me. Like, he was really he's hyped up. He had 2 sacks this year, and he's really amped up, and all his teammates are around him. But I look at it and go, whoa, and then I start counting the millions per sack, and I'm like, well, that's value for money, isn't it? I still he's not for me.
He's got those big plays in him, though.
Oh, he has, and that's the reason why we signed him. But Matt, what's your opinion on Draymond?
I was going to say that similar. In business, we talk about return on investment, and
ROI.
So I think at the end of season reviews, when they perhaps review that, they might be a bit drawing breath through the teeth when they see that. But I agree, he has got something in him occasionally, but not often enough.
I agree. Well, there you go. There's our 12 talking points. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we're going to get into our Discord member musings. So stay with us.
Let's give a big shout out to our sponsor, Wraith Energy. Wraith is a sugar-free energy drink that comes in these handy-dandy little sachets that you've not got to take in a huge can away with you. Simply mix it with half a litre of water, give it a good shake, and you are ready to go. It is sugar-free. It has all the benefits of pretty much every energy drink you'll have, apart from the fact it doesn't cost you a fortune. And they're very, very honest with what they have in there. You have taurine, caffeine, multiple vitamins, no sugar. And for any of you who try sugar-free energy drinks, usually you'll know they're not the best. Wraith, however, I have tried the majority of the flavors now, and I love every single one. If you want to try Wraith, go to wraithEnergy.com, and when you're going to check out, use code 12TALK for 10% off. You'll thank us later. Go Hawks.
There we go. Do you know how long it took me to do that video to realise which way to point?
You're a one take man, Josh. I know this for a fact. You were telling me before. They call you one take Josh, don't they?
I've been called many things. A one take is probably not the less about
I got
that.
a client who messaged me, seen that. And,
but yeah, that's one take. I do it all myself, all my own editing, as you can all tell. But this is one of our favourite parts as a community podcast, as a podcast by 12s, for 12s, with 12s. We have a very active Discord channel, or what's it, a Discord server, of which Mitch is the king of the Discord. The majority of people that are watching us right now will be members of that Discord, and we thank every single one of them for commenting, because not only do you really help us and really help the algorithm to get us noticed, you keep us entertained on every single live stream by watching your conversations. So we've had a few questions coming from the Discord, and we'd like to address them, and then we're going to try and get to as many of these comments as possible. So here we go. Jonas. To be honest, Zach Charbonnet hasn't given anything to a very uninspiring and anemic run game. Ooh. So should the Seahawks explore trade options with him? What would be a decent return? And where is Kenny McIntosh? Yes, Jonas, where is Kenny McIntosh? I'll tell you, he's now returning kicks and punts because D. Williams has done something to his ankle, and Laviska Shenault had an oblique injury. But he should be given a chance to run the rock, I think. I'm a big Kenny McIntosh believer. Yeah,
I'd trade Zach Charbonnet personally. I don't think we get more than a fourth for him, which is a shame because we put the second out there. And I do think that whoever we were to trade him to would probably get far more out of him in the short term than we did. However, we already know this is a league that doesn't like to extend running backs, and the market for him, I don't know if there's a huge market based on what he's done. So he might actually be a 2-year extension on not a huge amount of money. But then you have to ask yourself, if you could trade him for a fourth, pick up a position of need in a draft, and then take a 6th round, shot at a running back like we've done with the Carsons of this world in the past. That for me just makes me feel better when Ken Walker's getting the lion's share and we're occasionally seeing cameos from, a 6th round pick or whatever. That's a better situation for me than what we've currently got, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the 1-2 punch in. If you look at someone like the Lions, their 1-2 punch is super effective. They're Sonic and Knuckles in Gibbs and Montgomery. And I think that's kind of what we were looking at with having someone like Ken Walker and Charbonnet. But Charbonnet can do it when he's given the opportunity. He needs to build himself into a game. If he's a bit part player, he just doesn't show enough, in my opinion.
Could you imagine him behind a good O-line?
No, because he'd be running up the A and B gap anyway. So that's where he belongs. Go on, Matt, what were you going to say?
So I just wondered whether, sorry to interrupt, I just wondered whether he was one of those people that needs plenty of touches to get into a game, and he's not able to get that when Walker's the primary weapon, so he's so much more effective. I agree with what you're saying about the O-line as well. Fundamentally, that's probably the real answer. But I just wonder whether he's not able to create that magic just so sporadically.
I'd just be gutted if we traded him away to someone. They got the best version of Zach Charbonnet, the UCLA Zach Charbonnet. It's the reason we drafted him. If someone got that, I'd be like, just can't turn it on for us. Next one, Gary. Always Gary. Since the team acquired Ernest Jones, there's been a huge improvement defensively. Do you think this is due to the players becoming more comfortable with the scheme, or is it finding the right middle linebacker to fit the scheme? Mitch, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of both. I think when you're not fully comfortable in your scheme, you need to be able to fully rely on a few people around you. I think if you're not comfortable in your scheme and you're also not fully confident in the players alongside you, and you're having to worry about their assignments and, do your own job that you're not sure of, as well as someone else's, I think that's always a losing formula. So Ernest Jones coming in so seamlessly, taking the green dot, doing such a superb job straight off the bat, I think that's really rejuvenated the defensive side of the ball. I think there's just a bit more confidence and people can focus on their own jobs a bit more.
Do you agree, Matt?
Yeah, I couldn't add
No
anything
notes.
better. So yeah.
Right, the next two are sort of a 2-for-1. These are the type of conversations that happen in the Discord. So Jonas says Gary is saying Ernest Jones seems to be a big piece of Seahawks defense and wants to stay in Seattle long term. So would you sign him to a multi-year deal, and at what cost, or could the franchise tag even be an option? Straight away, Ben's come in and just gone, yes. That's my simple short answer, and I think our clear focus on linebackers suggests we'll throw everything at tying down one that we like. I mean, I don't think we need to expand on that because unless anyone likes to, I think Ernest Jones is the linebacker that Mike Mack was looking for to make this scheme work. And I think after this year, we will see an extension.
I agree.
And I don't think it'll cost the earth either because, he's been traded twice in the space of, 3 months?
Yeah.
So we'll be able to get it for a good price, and he's obviously a good scheme fit for Mike Mack.
What I would say about that, what I would say is I think part of the reason he was traded twice within 3 months was that people didn't necessarily want to be on the hook for that contract. The Titans are looking at needing to rebuild, and they had a guy on the roster that they'd have had to commit to, and they're probably looking at blowing it all up. So the pick made more sense than the commitment for them. The Rams had already said they're not going to pay a middle linebacker the kind of money he was going to command. So in making that trade, we have said we are the team that are going to pay a middle linebacker. Do you see what I mean? Like the two teams that had him before weren't that team. In going and getting him, we have said we are that team. So I've got confidence that one, he wants to sign that contract, and two, the numbers we've already mentioned to him are in line with what he wants. So I think that will be the case.
Nice. Just to sort of expand on that conversation, Gary's input. I hope they sign him long term. You can see why Aaron Donald rated him. He looks like a future leader of this team. And then here we go, Ben again. He's already got the green dot, and he seemed to sniff out their run game quite well. He got his depth wrong on a few zone drops over the middle of the field last night, but no one's perfect. And that's coming from a lockdown cornerback. So if he's getting his drops wrong, I'm sorry, man, I can't help it every time I see the moniker there. Right, the next one. Oh, so someone in our Discord called Racecourse Ramble. I don't know. Does next season's cap concern you about our ability to transition the roster as quickly as we'd hope?
I should be able to spell. That's an awful. I will just point that out. I can actually spell.
That's fine. That's all right. Well, we have had an answer. Obviously, we will expand on this as well. So, True Drew, another one of our fantastic members of the Discord, we hired a salary cap specialist to do the groundwork for this. We should be fine. There are several players that need extensions. There are several players that will be cut, and that will open up enough space to do what we would like in the off season. I'm just going to put it out there that I believe the fine gentlemen at the Seahawkers pod have underlined the fact that the cap is magic.
Yeah.
It's a mirage. Everyone goes, oh, cap, I don't know what we can do about the cap. And then, as we said off air, people like the Saints who are in cap hell always seem to come good. So I think we'll be fine. We'll see. I think there's a history with this team of being able to move salaries around to create sort of more space 1 year and then sort of kick it down the can, add void years, turn some of it to bonus. I think we'll be fine. So there you go, Racecourse Ramble on our Discord.
Good question though, Racecourse Ramble. You can come back next week.
Yeah. Fantastic question. You can come back in the Discord. And then Bryce from the Hawks Home Rundown. Does this change your views on the season, on where this team is at, the rebuilding process? And how concerned are you about a letdown game versus the Cardinals? Matt, you can take this one to start with, mate.
Okay, so I, rightly or wrongly, laugh at this, predicted that we would win 6 or 7 games this season. I thought it would be a real struggle for us. It was looking like I might be right for the last 4 or 5 weeks, wasn't it? To be fair, but I didn't have great expectations, if you like. But obviously, it's more the performance perhaps than the result. Gives you a bit more faith in the rebuilding process, and I am very concerned that we'll blow it in both games against the Cardinals, because that's just what happens in sport, isn't it? You do something brilliant, you know, 1 week and the next week, and especially with new teams, when you're trying to build new teams, you get inconsistency, and I think that's my concern. So I am concerned about it personally, but I am glass. Sometimes I am glass half full rather than glass half empty rather than half full. Perhaps that's coming through there, but yeah, I am concerned.
Go on, Frowny Mitch.
Frowny Mitch. Sorry, mate. I have to cheer my face up.
It's your resting Mitch face.
My resting Mitch face, yeah. Bulldog chewing a wasp. That's my natural look. I think we've done it a lot this year. Win a game, get over excited. A game comes along like the Giants, and we play completely differently. Look a bit clueless. Don't look anything like the team that came before. Lose a few games, and then the Falcons come along and we make them look silly. So I can't predict anything at this point, honestly. What I do think, I do like the styles make fights analogy when it comes to boxing, and I like it when it comes to the NFL. I think sometimes you look at a team with a good record and you see a team with an average record, but the thing that the average team does really well is your kryptonite. And I think, I mean, we're still a very highly rated offense in this league on a number of factors. The Cardinals have got some serious soft spots on that D, and I think we could really, really expose them. And I think our defense can go toe-to-toe with their offense. So I think that's actually a really good matchup for us. Cue a two-score loss.
Yeah. Do you know, that's it. I'll just write down a time stamp on
It's
this
going to be
one.
shorts of me stating opinion at this point.
I'll tell you, the pod, mate, the prophet of doom of the pod. This doesn't change my now view. We were really optimistic to start with. I having started coaching men's adult rugby again, I've been bitten by these starting really well, showing really good signs. Then the next week you get absolutely trounced, and then having to sort of revamp it all and reinstill it all to win again. I think the three, really put the wind in our sails as fans, and it's sort of been that roller coaster with, like, I don't know if anyone went to Alton Towers with the Oblivion, where it was just vertical drop. I think this team is, I will reiterate what Mitch and I have said, this is going to be a further 2 years of a rebuild for us to get anywhere near a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got the players there. I don't think the scheme has been installed properly. And Mike Mack's come out and said they've had to peel it back to its basic form and focus on what they're good at, not everything that he wants to do. With regards to the Cardinals game, do you know what? I don't mind watching the Cardinals. I feel like I need to have a bleach bath after saying that. But Kyler, as much of a poison dwarf as he is, with a obsession for COD, can pull off some fantastic plays. I think Marvin Harrison Jr., can have some explosive plays. I think Wilson's been fantastic. James Conner, I've just got so much respect for him as a running back because he just gets it done every single year. And they are currently top of the division. I never thought I'd say that at this point. And we have been so up and down, it's so hard to predict. I think if we can have a good showing in our game against the Cardinals, then it might keep us on an upwards trajectory. But I still see us having a potentially losing season overall. And I think the first Cardinals game, I hope, will be a win, but I'm not optimistic. So there you go. Long and short, don't know. I'm just going to condense that. True Drew's come in as well. Are the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl? For anyone listening, joking aside, when we came into the season, what in your mind made for a successful season? For example, I thought splitting the series between the Rams and the 49ers would make for a great season. Mitch, what was our viewpoint on the season? What do we want to see?
I'd see 8 wins as a big success. I don't necessarily want to see us crawl into the playoffs. If we get on an absolute heater and we've got that momentum, hit me up with the playoffs. Let's win a couple of playoff games. But if we are win one, lose a couple, win a couple, fall short of the playoffs, bank 8 wins for Mike Mack in his first season as AHC, and crack on to next year and start planning. That for me is a success. I like the point about splitting the series with the Niners and the Rams. I would also see that as huge progress. And I think that's mostly what we wanted to see, wasn't it? Trajectory and purpose and identity, and we want to feel where we're going. You know, we've not had a chance to really feel that because of how intermittent it's been. So yeah, any kind of palpable.
What did you tell us off there about the 49ers game?
I said that we could have, if we'd started podcasting 2.5 years ago, this would still have been the first win we'd podcasted about over the 49ers. Okay, that's progress.
12
Granted.
Podcast, there you go. The 12 Talk podcast, we brought the look to that second game against the Niners.
Yeah, we are responsible.
So all us, baby. Go on, Matt. What was your sort of view to what would you see a successful season being like?
All the intangibles, really. I think I didn't, as you can tell, I didn't expect the W column just to go through the roof. I just wanted to feel like we could feel a transition and a change. That said, I was really optimistic about our offense, and I just thought the defense really we need to focus on. But and that might be an easy fix. You know, you flit, don't you, between how I think this is going to go. But it was the intangibles. So it was the feel, like Mitch has hinted at. It was the feeling of I can see where we're going. I can see what we're trying to do, and I think early on we've not seen that, which is why people have got worried and why people have been questioning Mike Mack, and there's been all that rubbish about is he the man, or I was listening today. People had been sort of saying he's lost the locker room, and it's just like I don't see that at all. So yeah, it was the awkward things that you can't actually put numbers to, perhaps, but just a feeling that next season this is going to be. Imagine what we're going to be. We could see the signs. That was my honest. I hadn't even thought about splitting the series with other teams in the division. I hadn't thought of any of that because I did think this season might have been rough.
Yeah.
That's a rubbish answer. I've waffled long, but
it's all right. That's what we do on this pod. You've watched us many times, mate. You know this. Yeah, for me and Mitch, we just said we just wanted to see improvement, and we wanted to see this team go from what potentially would have been a brand new look team to not knowing what they were doing, running around like headless chickens, to by the end of the season really seeing that trajectory going up. So people start recognizing where they need to be in a scheme, you know, figuring out, you know, this is how we do play, how Grubb wants us to play, how Mike Mack wants us to play, you know, that way. So that's how I see success now. I'm not looking for Super Bowls. I'm not even looking for an NFC West championship. You know, if we hit second in the division, I'm fine with that. You know, yeah. Let's keep going because we've got some more. Oh, have we? Oh no, that's it. Managed to get through them all on a couple of slides, but we do have quite a few comments that have come in, and we do like to get through a couple. So I'll try and whiz through a couple in a couple of minutes. Firstly, just for the fun of it, I do like this one from Ben. There are Niners tears falling from the sky in the UK. It's snowing up north. So everyone that has joined us, please, by all means, you can sign up to our Discord. It is free. Mitch has put the link in those comments there. I'm just having a quick flick through now to see. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't keep putting all your comments up here. There are more. Do you know what's really nice to see? The majority of the comments that we have on this is less so aimed at us. It's more just our viewers and the people that support
the community
us.
just talking.
Just chatting to each other.
I love it. I love it. It's so good.
I mean, do you know what? I can't even go through all these because I'm basically just reading people's conversations. Do you know, one thing that I have established is that Ben finds cornerback too hard, but he did get 3 interceptions playing safety in flag football. And Gary thinks he'd be a fantastic free safety. There you go. That's the main thing.
I actually think Ben would be a superb fit for a Mike Mack defense, because we know when he was at university, he was what was it, the 2019 sack leader playing defensive end. Now he's talking about being a lockdown corner, and he's also playing safety. That is a Mike Mack dream.
Multiplicity, mate. Multiplicity.
That's it.
It's Army night.
Exactly.
I mean, before we go, I mean, I will say a massive thank you to you, Matt. It was brilliant you to come on at really short notice. We had a bit of a mix up with our diaries, and for you to come on, you've been absolutely brilliant. Do you please once again just tell everyone where they can find you?
At Racecourse Ramble, as is my handle on social media. So just for English football, British football, should we call it, rather than the football that we're talking today. If you're interested in a bit of EFL chat and perhaps some Hollywood chat, because you never know who's going to turn up at a Wrexham football game now. You know, I walked in the local pub once and Will Ferrell was sat there drinking beer. You know, this is the type of thing that happens in Wrexham now.
As regularly. You do, you know.
Massive Seahawks fan as well, isn't he, Will Ferrell?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was.
The next time you're in the pub and you see him, you're like, I know 2 guys that have a Seahawks podcast.
Yeah,
do you want to come on with us?
You know, and Ant-Man's there, and it's just weird. It's just like it's Kevin Feige. If you know anything about movies and film, Kevin Feige was there. You know, just casually having a drink. Yeah, perfect. Casually having a drink. Nobody recognised him in this pub. You know, in the pub, because not everybody knows who he is. For
Head honcho of Marvel Studios.
Head honcho, yeah. So it's just bizarre times in Wrexham, and obviously everybody should be supporting us and not Birmingham City, who may have some half-ass
Patriot connections.
Ex-quarterback.
Overrated.
Let's not talk
about him. He was just a lazy pocket passer, wasn't he? So.
You can also find
if he's watching. That's obviously.
If he's watching, I'd love him to get in the comments to see what everyone says. I mean, you can also find Matt and many of the members that have been making comments on here in our Discord. Mitch has popped the link in there, and anyone who is watching, if you don't already, please by all means join our Discord. You can chat to us and Seahawks fans from all over the world. It's completely free. You won't have to pay to join our Discord. We just like having a community for everyone to talk in. And if you are new to the channel, or you might not have done it already, by all means, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really helps us grow the community as well, and get the word out about our fantastic charity partners like the Robin Cancer Trust. And it helps us sort of help raise awareness and money and really bring this podcast community. We are a community podcast, so we give a platform to fans that may not have been on a Seahawks podcast before, or experienced podcasters like Matt right here, to come on and talk Seahawks rather than the round version of football. And we just love having as many in as possible. Absolutely love seeing this community grow week in, week out. You can follow us on, right, are you ready? Let's reel these off. It's at 12 Talk Pod on X, Instagram. I wouldn't say Twitter, but that is X. We've got a Facebook group as well. And what else have I got, Mitch? We're on all the threads. We're on threads. Yeah, we're on threads. Yeah. We've also, you can find us on.
Now.
Are we? Yeah. Do you know how many social media platforms I've got to try and manage? That's a lot.
Tell me about it. I have to update all.
Just copy and paste everything.
Yeah.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We're on Castbox. Tell your friends, tell your family if
Pass
you
the
know
pod.
anyone. That's it. Pass the pod. If you hear anyone that is a Seahawks fan, by all means, tell them to get in touch. Give us a listen. If they want to appear, they can come and join the Discord and have a chat to us. I just want to say massive thanks to everyone. Massive thanks to you, Matt. Thanks to my partner in crime over there, Mitch. And I would very much like to end this pod with our customary Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
See you next time, everyone.